Last time I spoke to the fire outbreaks and had reminded the leader of the House, and I made that point strongly, that we have a leader of the House. And the time allocated had elapsed, had eclipsed. And the committee will not get back to this House plenary for us to adopt the report or otherwise. In joining you in putting ashes on yourself, I have a wish to humbly suggest that if it is the case that we cannot refer to referrals to the committees under the present circumstance, then we can refer it to the minister. As regard the Minister for Education is somebody I can stick my neck out. That is one serious minister who will respond to this referral. So we can rather channel it to the Minister of Education to take this laudable, important statement in good stride and come report to this House some actions or measures that could be taken in this regard. I humbly submit, Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if we are referring cases to committees,
I heard you refer to them as minority, and that's prophetic.
That was a slip of tongue. Honorable Majority, Deputy Majority Whip.
Nothing is prophetic in this House, because Ghanaians are taking decision, and that decision will stay for the next 40 years. For the next 40 years. Mr. Speaker, if we are referring cases to committees and we are not getting results, which means there is something that is not working, who has been channeling the information to the committee clerks so that they keep prompting the chairman, this thing has been referred to us and we need to sit on it so that I can write a report to you to come and report back to the House. Mr. Speaker, if we don't do things right, we won't get right results. So when we refer items, a clerk at table should put it into writing to the committee clerk. Then the committee clerk will put it on their platform so that they take decision to sit on it. Or if they are to go rounds, they go rounds and gather information. Then they can come and report here. So we should change the way we do things so that we can get the right results. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Honorable Comfordoyo, I'm just being informed by the table that that's the way they do things. They always write to the committee chair and inform the clerk to the committee. I think the leader of the House is here. Leader, I have an issue that we need to actually look at. I think we have an issue that we have to look at. We don't have to hide behind it. It is something that is happening for me. It's not good. So many referrals has been made to the committees. And the committees, as to whether they sit on it, is another thing. They don't report back. And it's making some of us reluctant to make any referral again. Because this statement that was read by Honorable Stephen Amo is a very, very important statement. I think our educational sector should look at trying to inculcate the children into entrepreneurial skills. I think it's very, very important, but I'm not inclined to do that because so many referrals has been made to the committees. So once you are here, we will crave your indulgence to look into this aspect. But once again, that chairman, ranking members, they should take referral that we make to them very seriously. Other than that, it will be as safe we are just playing and just doing the referrals.
Right Honourable Speaker, I do agree with you. And so we will engage the chairman and chairpersons of the various committees. I think that sometimes when you make a referral without having taken time to develop elaborate terms of reference for the committee, it becomes difficult for the committee to know exactly what they are supposed to do. Because he comes and makes a statement regarding his views about what our skills training sector should look like to be more effective in building the cadre of skilled personnel that we need to drive our national development. Now, when you say, okay, we've referred your statement to a committee, what is the committee supposed to do with that statement? That is where we have a deficit. And maybe some committees take it and they don't really know, well, the statement will refer to us. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to conduct a hearing on the matter, invite all the relevant institutions and stakeholders, confirm the thesis of the statement, confirm whether what they are saying accurately reflects the situation on the ground, test the ideas espoused in the statements, and then come out with comprehensive proposals for the sector ministers to work on, or for some legislation to be passed, or some resolutions, consequential ones, to be passed by this House. So we need to begin to be a bit more explicit when we make the referrals. I have some discussions ongoing about how to get the committees to start having public hearings. All the committees. I think that so far, the Public Accounts Committee started having public hearings several years ago, and it's become the most popular committee because they are engaged in public hearings. Then the Government Assurance Committee also followed up, and because they were publicized, they also became, quite popular during the chairmanship of the very innovative Okujetu. But, Mr. Speaker, there are other committees dealing with matters that are more fundamental in our lives: water, healthcare, education, housing. And the committees should be having public hearings on what is happening in those sectors. Because those sectors have state institutions or agencies that are responsible for delivering on those commodities. They are supposed to write annual reports reviewing their performance. And all those reports are laid in this House. And the reports laid in this House should be the subject of some public hearing by all the committees to see what is happening in healthcare delivery. But National Health Insurance Authority will lay a report. The Director General of the Ghana Health Service will lay a report. The Food and Drugs Authority will lay a report. All the reports are being laid in this House. But the Health Committee will not take all those reports and have a public hearing, invite them, read the reports, question why performance is 20% instead of 90%, question why access is 60% instead of 80%, and put them on the spot so that they know that no institution is going to escape public accountability. If we function that way, I believe that every agency will begin to set up the way that I see, agencies relating to the Auditor General's office sitting up and trying to do their work. I think that accountability shouldn't only be about money, whether money was stolen or not stolen. But accountability should also be about if you took money to do work and the work hasn't been done or hasn't been done satisfactorily. Even though you've done some work, you haven't met the target set on the basis of which we gave you the amount of money that we gave you. These are all matters of accountability. And this Parliament must ensure that every institution is accountable. It will take away this idea of juicy committees and non-juicy committees. Because juicy committees are committees that, get work done. And once you start all working effectively in your various areas, you will become very famous committees and begin to attract the interest of members to want to be part of those committees. So, Mr. Speaker, I thought that this call provides an opportunity to add something even more fundamental and missing in the work that we do as a parliament. And so I'll confer with my counterparts, the whips, and they will engage the chairman of the various committees and see going forward how we can begin to have our committees perform better. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. So, honorable members, you take the second statement, and I will go to Laura. Laura, Honorable Bedzidin, on the unfortunate drowning of students. Honorable Bed, I'm giving you the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to make this very important and solemn statement on the floor of this House.
Okay, Honorable Bed, hold on. Since I said I'm not inclined to refer the statement, I will, however, ask that the table link up with the minister directly and let the minister get to know the importance of this statement and see how best he can. So, table link up with the minister. Yes, Honorable Bed. Let's see. Hold on, Honorable Bed. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think that henceforth, when statements are made and we feel strongly about those statements, the maker of the statement should be encouraged to bring a motion calling for a parliamentary inquiry into the subject and itemizing some terms of reference so that once we pass that resolution as a House, then it paves the way for a committee hearing so that some budgetary allocation can be made for the committee.
Leader, that's very good. So, leader, we will look up to you, at least with the whips. Let's try to draft out something to bring members on board in respect of asking them to come up by way of motion so that we can debate and yes, Honorable.
Speaker, I rise to speak in support, and I identified with the regrets shown by the leader. And if you go through the Constitution, it appears we've been sleeping on many of our functions. Article 187, in respect of Auditor General's report, for instance, for a long time, we talk about it and we don't take any action. So the leader has captured it right. We may have to transition to the point where the statement will be followed up with a motion. And then once the motion is adopted, it becomes a significant exit point for a function to be performed. I think if we do that, and then we can have a dedicated budget for these activities, that for me is the way to go. And the leader has shown a lot of promise in many of his interventions, ably supported by my often good friend. So he should keep the leader reminded so that this thing doesn't become one of the good things we say and then we'll go and sleep. If you're able to do that, Speaker, it can make a lot of difference.
Thank you very much. Leader, I'm so grateful with this particular position. Yes, Honorable Bed, you may take the floor now.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to make this very important and solemn statement on the floor of this House. It is with a heart weighed down by sorrow and a deep sense of loss that I rise to draw the attention of this honorable House and indeed the entire nation to a tragic and avoidable incident that occurred in the Laura constituency in the Upper West region of Ghana. On Saturday, 14 June 2025, I received the devastating news that 7 students of Laura Senior High School had tragically drowned while attempting to cross the Black Volta River at Dikpe in the Lora constituency using a canoe. I received the news through one of the Lora constituency executives of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Simon Derry. Mr. Speaker, the news shocked me, and I wondered what was the cause of such a calamity. In the course of the day, I was further informed that 3 of the 10 students involved had been rescued, but the remaining 7 were trapped by the river. Later, the bodies of 5 were recovered, leaving 2 of them still in the bowels of the river, which were found the following day, 15th June. Mr. Speaker, this sad event drew the regional director of GES and his staff, the regional NADMO directorate, and the National Security Office to Lora. Subsequently, the regional minister also visited Lora to see things for himself. The event broke the hearts of the people of the Lora constituency. In fact, the day could rightly be described as a Black Saturday. The loss of these promising young lives has sent shock waves throughout the Lora constituency and the country at large. Mr. Speaker, these were not just students. They were the hope of their families, the pride of their school, and the future of our nation. Their sudden and untimely death has left their families shattered, their peers traumatized, and our community in mourning. I wish to, on behalf of the entire Lora constituency, extend my deepest and most heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. I also wish to express my sincere sympathy to the headmaster and staff of Lora Senior High School, as well as the entire student body of the school, who are struggling to come to terms with this terrible loss. Mr. Speaker, I believe this unfortunate and sad event should be a wake-up call to all of us to be a bit more careful of the way we live our lives, because life is unpredictable. I would admonish all students to conduct themselves with much more care when they leave the parental homes and come to be put in the care of school authorities. What we have been told about this event is that these students were part of the school cadet group that decided to do their jogging at the riverside near the Black Water at Dikpe on the Saturday morning. They were 16 in number, comprising 11 girls and 5 boys. At the riverside, 10 of them, 8 girls and 2 boys, decided to join a canoe which was being handled by a young man to take a ride across the river to the Burkina Faso side of the Black Water River, which forms the border between the 2 countries, that is Ghana and Burkina Faso. In the course of the trip, water began to enter the boat. The students tried to evacuate the water, but more water entered into the canoe and it started sinking. They got frightened and decided to jump out of the canoe and swim out of the water. Unfortunately, not having been trained in swimming, they could not swim to safety. Their commander, who was outside the river, saw the predicament of his cadets and, being a trained swimmer, jumped into the river in an attempt to save the lives of his compatriots. Indeed, he was able to bring out only 3, while the remaining 7 perished in the river. Mr. Speaker, my information is that out of those who died, 2 of them are from the Lora constituency, 2 from the Dafiama Busie Isa constituency, 1 from Nandom, 1 from Wa, and the last one from Nadoli. The 3 who were rescued are responding to treatment and are currently living with the headmaster in his bungalow. Obviously, the decision of all the 10 students to join the canoe was one of poor judgment. I believe that if only about half of that number, or even less, had joined the canoe, we could have probably avoided this catastrophe. Let us always be guided by the saying that prevention is better than cure, by avoiding obvious dangers in our life. This disaster will certainly put avoidable stress on the school authorities as well as a huge financial burden on the bereaved families. Mr. Speaker, I believe that what happened could have been avoided if there were life jackets available to the students. Unfortunately, there was none. I therefore wish to appeal to NADMO to take steps to provide life jackets for the Dikpe community and all other communities along the Black Volta that use boats to commute, because that appears to be the only means of transport. This should not be allowed to happen again. Let us take preventive steps, including public education on safety and security. I further appeal to NADMO, the Regional Coordinating Council, and the Laura Municipal Assembly to come to the aid of the Laura Senior High School and the bereaved families by providing support to them in these trying moments. As a stopgap measure, I have decided to procure 10 life jackets as soon as possible to avert any future occurrence. Mr. Speaker, the time has come for us to rise above partisanship and political point scoring. The safety and development of our people must take precedence. The death of these 7 students should serve as a national wake-up call, an alarm bell sounding from the banks of the Black Volta at Dikpe, urging us to act. The former president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, in November 2020, came to Laura to cut the sword for the construction of the Dikpe Bridge, a very laudable idea, but sadly, the project has not seen the light of day, whilst the site has turned into the habitats of rodents and the reptiles. Mr. Speaker, on my part, I wish to use this platform to make an urgent appeal to the Honorable Minister for Roads and Highways to take up the construction of the Dikpe Bridge project seriously and as a matter of national priority. We cannot afford to lose more lives. We cannot allow the dreams of our young people to be buried beneath the waters of negligence. Let this House remember these 7 students, not just with words, but with action. I have already sent a delegation to go and commiserate with the headmaster and staff of the school, as well as the entire student body. The delegation will also visit the bereaved families wherever possible to express our deep condolences to them. Again, Mr. Speaker, I extend my deepest condolences to the school and the entire bereaved families. May the gentle souls of the departed students rest in perfect peace, and may we, as leaders, rise to meet our responsibilities with courage and compassion. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me first and foremost go to Sola. Honorable Andrew Chitawe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to join the Honorable Member for Laura, Honorable Bezideng Ambatazuma, to send my condolences to the bereaved families of the students who unfortunately lost their lives trying to cross to the neighboring country. Mr. Speaker, following the statement, it is very clear that the students went to the riverside without the guidance of a tutor. Mr. Speaker, I see this as a very unfortunate situation. Considering the number of students that went to the riverside, Mr. Speaker, it would have been good if they had a master or a tutor along. I am very sure that if they had gone to the riverside with a teacher, this unfortunate incident wouldn't have occurred. Mr. Speaker, Laura Secondary School is also not very close to the riverside, but just wondering why the student had to take that risk to go that far. Mr. Speaker, it is also very clear that where the student went to happened to be a route that Ghanaians used to cross to Burkina, and the Burkinabés also crossed to our side. And it's very clear that that route is not manned by security officers. This sends a signal that as a country, all routes leading to other countries that we border, we must endeavor to put security men around the areas. If there were security officers guiding that route, I'm very certain that the students wouldn't, they wouldn't have sat in the boat to cross by taking that risk. And Mr. Speaker, also very clear that the person that was managing the canoe was not very experienced. I'm sure if there was an experienced person that manned the canoe, probably this wouldn't have also happened. Myself, Mr. Speaker, some few years back, because I have relatives across, we lost an uncle. Myself and one of my late brothers, we had to be crossed by a young lady. Mr. Speaker, at a point, we were compelled to stand up to hold the motorbike because the canoe was balancing. In fact, it was only God that saved us. At a point, I closed my eyes and I was praying in my mind and was waiting for the sound. Yes, to indicate that the canoe had gotten to the other end of the river. Mr. Speaker, people really risk when it comes to some of these things. But let me conclude by pleading with school authorities to be very cautious, to be very mindful of the students that we lead, the students that we are supposed to take care of. Sometimes we tend to forget that students at that age, the ages between 15, 16, 17, and the 20, they are people who want to experiment. And so school authorities must be very vigilant. And also, parents would have to begin to talk to their wards when they are going to school. Let them know that they should not raise their lives to the extent of what the Laura Secondary School students did. Very unfortunate. It has happened already. Let's join hands to send our condolences to the school, the bereaved families, and especially the Member of Parliament. I know he's gone through a lot of torture, and this is the time for us to support him as they mourn the bereaved. They mourn with the bereaved families. Mr. Speaker, may those who lost their life have a peaceful rest with their Maker, and those who are also alive with the headmaster of the school, may they also recover speedily. May the school authorities also keep calm and get psychologists to counsel the students to get them back to normal life. Mr. Speaker, once again, I thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to make this comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Let me go to Afram Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm calling you because you also apply a lot on the lake.
Yes, that's correct, sir. Mr. Speaker, I share my sadness and condolences with the family of the bereaved in this very tragic moment. Mr. Speaker, like the maker of the statement vividly narrated, these activities and tragedies has been an everyday thing along our river bodies in the country. I always have a question I ask myself. What is my responsibility of preventing a tragic event like this, rather than waiting and lamenting of a cure after it's already done? I think there is something that we as a country are not looking at critically. How are we equipping our young ones to cope with the environment and the atmosphere they live in? It is non-negotiable that people will live by river bodies. It's non-negotiable that people will cross rivers, will cross streams, the Black Volta, the White Volta, the Afram, the Volta Lake. How do we train the young ones to master the act of living in the environment they find themselves in? As a young boy, I tried to learn swimming at the age of 6 in the Volta Lake. But at that time, because of lack of such knowledges, our parents, our uncles would beat us to the core. As we all lamenting now that there are no parental guides. But I can tell you for a fact, anyone who knows how to swim will tell you that if you even put on a life jacket but cannot master the art of controlling yourself on the river, you will still die with the life jacket. Which means that it was better if we allow and train our children who live around river bodies to master the act of at least being still. But because we do not bring out such policies to equip them on their environment, we end up with these tragic events. It will happen and happen and happen if we don't equip them. Mr. Speaker, as we represent those people along the lakes here, I see a lot of my senior colleagues and even my first-time MPs along the lake, and we know this happens even with school children for which commuting across rivers has become their everyday life. In my constituency, Afram Place, crossing river to school is like walking from here to Job 600. And therefore, it is a normal thing. But how are we going to prevent them drowning every time so that it doesn't become a lamentation speech we read here in Parliament? I wish, Mr. Speaker, we direct the offices of NADMO, the Navy, and whoever matters in these matters to start a kind of exercise training our students and young ones along our river bodies, at least to master the act of floating. That is the only way, if we even provide them with life jackets, they can successfully come out of this kind of situation. Mr. Speaker, it's so sad that even between January till now, in Afram Place North, I can tell you this event has happened more than 5 or 6 times, and we couldn't pick any of them alive. But it has become the daily life of the people, so it is just like someone died and someone is buried. But how long are we going to wait until our young ones that will take over from us drown in river bodies before we take an action of equipping them? I will just end it here and say we have the power as a house to stand and make a decision that will help us to curb further occurrences in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me give Honorable Afram Prince, may you put off your mic, please? Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to contribute to this very important statement made by my senior colleague, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Laura. Mr. Speaker, before I say anything, I want to join this House in expressing my condolences to the families of the students and to my colleague MP and all the stakeholders involved in this matter. Mr. Speaker, crossing the river from Dikpe to our first neighbor, Burkina Faso, should ordinarily not make the news. It shouldn't make the news because it's such a basic requirement of government to see to our security and to protect us in any part of this country that we find ourselves. Mr. Speaker, when school students get on a boat to cross to the other side to Burkina, the excitement is probably not because they want to sit in a boat. It's because they want to go to Burkina Faso, which they could have done if there was a bridge on the river. I don't think that if that river was bridged, the students will ignore walking across the river on the bridge and get onto a boat. The maker of the statement has alluded to a sword cutting ceremony which was meant to construct a bridge across this river, and yet it was never done. Mr. Speaker, I think that is where we need to place our attention. What are we doing to forestall the reoccurrence of some of these catastrophes? For those of us MPs along the Volta Lake, either the white Volta or the black Volta, we see these occurrences every day. In my constituency of Salaga South, I'm bordered by 46 such communities. And in most of the communities, there are no schools. Most of the communities don't have a healthcare center. So when a woman is in labor at midnight, in Sope, they will put the woman on a boat and cross over to Yeji. That is where the nearest hospital is. And I've asked myself, don't these people deserve, when we were in secondary school, every secondary school had a sick bay. For the want of a better word, just something, a facility equivalent to that of a sick bay, where sick people in these communities can be attended to and given first aid before they are moved to the next health center. Mr. Speaker, that is not the case. When I moved from Salaga to go to Akamade, where I've been struggling in the last 6 months to put up a school, because even government of Ghana won't go there to put up a school, no roads, no way to carry building materials, you have to cut everything, including sand, on a boat across the river. And I've been doing that for the past 6 months because they don't have a school. So every day, they are on a boat, they cross to Agege in my brother Honorable Jinapo's constituency to attend school and back. And this has been going on until I found an NGO that was ready to help me to construct a school in this community. Mr. Speaker, when I sit on the boat from Kafaba, 3 hours I'm on the lake, going to Akamade, and as if the sun and everything that is inconveniencing you is not enough, you don't sight a single speedboat situated on the lake to take care of people who are using the lake in any eventualities. Zero, Mr. Speaker. There is no such thing on the I traverse the Volta Lake from Kafaba to Akamade. I do Kafaba to Kijewu. I do Makango to Yeji. There is no boat ready to offer help in case anything happened to us on the lake. Mr. Speaker, these are the bigger issues that government has to address its mind to. And that is why, for me, in February, when we read the report that the Defense Ministry had partnered the road minister to construct a bridge across a stream in Asokwa, I think, in the lower Achim constituency in the eastern region. It's Asokwa. We were very excited. And Mr. Speaker, that very day I read the report, I sat behind my desktop and I wrote a very beautiful letter to the road minister and the defense minister, asking for similar collaboration to address about the same problem in Sarkingona Kura in my constituency. Where the children, you don't know how to describe that water body, whether it is a pond, whether it is a creek or a canal, because it depends on the time of year when you go there. Its characteristics changes. But what is constant is that the school children are on the lake, on the canoe, on rafts, ferrying adults like me across, because I have to go and campaign in Sarkingona Kura. And when I have to go there from Kibatito, I have to sit on the boat. And these little boys have to paddle me across to the other side. No schooling, no healthcare. This is Ghana. Mr. Speaker, legislators, the executive, I think we need to understand that Ghana is not Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, Takoradi. Ghana includes Kijewu Bato, Adevukope, Atayikura, No Man's Land, Sarkingona Kura, Mataheko, Accra Pe, Shakara. They are all part of this country. And so when we are allocating the natural resources of this country that all of us are entitled to, we must remember these people.
Thank you. Very touching comments.
Fortunately, the road minister has responded to my letter, and by the grace of Allah, he's promised to put a steel bridge on that creek so that at least we can all move in comfort. Before I take my seat, Mr. Speaker, let me say once again my condolences to the bereaved family, and my prayer is with the Honorable Member of Parliament of the area, because I know he didn't include that in the statement, but I know the pressure that he will be undergoing at this time to come and address everybody's problems. We are with you, Mr. MP. We're praying that government will listen to our cry and help make life a little bit better for all of us. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much. Very touching comment. Yes, let me come to my brother. I'll give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Like which ones? I don't know those ones. They are not in my.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support Honorable Bede with what he is going through. I share a boundary with Laura, that is Nandom, and also the same black volta runs through our 2 constituencies. Secondly, Laura is 18 miles from Nandom, and by that, most of the students come from places including people from my constituency. This tragedy affects mostly schools and constituencies in the Upper West region. And one of the victims was from my constituency. So I'm grateful to Honorable Bede for bringing this issue to this House. I want to say, I am with you, my brother Bede, in this serious situation. I can imagine as a parent that I'm home, then all of a sudden I hear that my child drowned in the Black Volta. It will be very devastating. What I want to say is, in the narrative, he made mention that the cause was that the canoe had a hole and water was seeping into it. This is a very serious issue. Along the Black Volta, there are many points where people cross from Ghana to Burkina and vice versa. I am not sure anybody has had the time to ever inspect the canoes that they use. If it were so, maybe this situation would not have arisen. Panic was one of the issues. And I want to suggest that NADMO should add inspection of these canoes to its normal duties. We don't wait until there's a disaster and we come and make beautiful speeches here of sympathy and whatnot. But the life, you cannot bring it back. Also, we hear the students were members of the school cadet corps and that they do not know how to swim. Any serious cadet corps should include swimming lessons in its activities. So, I will encourage all schools that have cadet corps, and particularly those around places where we have rivers and lakes and whatnot, to include swimming lessons in their activities. Then, I did not hear about a supervisor who took them to the riverside. What I heard was that somebody from outside was able to come into the water and succeeded in rescuing 3 of the students. I think all schools should take it into consideration that when they are going out, there must be a supervisor who will take the decision and not the students themselves taking a decision to cross the river into Burkina Faso. That river is quite large, and I think when the water kept seeping through, they panicked. But if they were a supervisor, he could have just called upon them to keep calm and that he will manage the situation. I want to say that to the whole of Upper West, because the students came from different constituencies, we are all mourning these students. And I want to tell Bid, we will all support what you are doing, because I also have very many crossing points from my constituency into Burkina Faso. So my condolences to the parents and to the school and to you, Bid, and to myself, because I also lost somebody in that tragedy. And with those few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Leadership.
Speaker, on hearing this sad news, I was reminded, and I was just trying to relate to my colleague across the aisle, my chief whip, while we were at University of Cape Coast. We recorded a sad story. I think we were in second year or so, where a number of students, 3 students that ago got drowned at the beach. So I can identify with the pain and the misery. I know my senior, the Honorable Begzidin, is somebody who is very careful on what to speak to. So our hearts go out there to you, the family, and having made time to find time to speak to this matter in showing solidarity and condolence to the family and the bereaved. Speaker, not to belabor the point, we've read these stories in the media oftentimes, and we lament about it, and then we go home to sleep. Interestingly, the Black Volta, I don't know if it's closer to the Black Volta is closer to, I'm not getting my geography well, if the Black Volta is closer to the White Volta. But the Black Volta, the White Volta, the Volta River, and a number of water bodies that intersperse geographical boundaries of our country. And the begging question is, especially this time of the year, where the rains is here. As a serious country, we should have been taking measures against these disasters. So we've I'm happy to say that the road minister, who is very dutiful, has responded. It's good, but we all have to follow through to get to the conclusion of it. But it's not just the road minister. I think the transport minister is also relevant. Transport on water bodies, these canoes and transport generally on the water bodies come under the purview of the transport minister. And so, Speaker, with a lot of sadness, I can imagine if this thing happens to my son, my daughter, it will be a very sad story to record. So, and Speaker, you are lethargic in giving consequential directives. Nowadays, I don't want to invite the Speaker. The Speaker has put on ashes. Very sad. But specific to this matter, and I will pray you that, Speaker, we should give some timelines. Timelines, get the road minister, the transport minister, they should put their heads together. Either they are meeting up with the Honorable Bexeden, but it's not just about him. I know other parts of the country, these things are the danger is rearing its ugly head. Afram Plains, my own good friend, I was once in his constituency, Honorable Roxon. He has a big river the Volta River goes through your constituency, right? The Volta River.
You went to his constituency?
He comes and he doesn't bring you fish.
To do what?
I don't know why he's been doing that.
What did you go there to do?
A number of my families are there, he knows.
Oh, I thought...
My extended family,
I thought at the level of the hips, you have some...
The last time he brought me some beautiful fish. So, it cuts across the entire country. So let's look at the matter in its absolute sense, so that we don't limit ourselves. See, I'm not taking anything away from the importance of the event, but I'm saying that we should look at it in broader perspective. Because if you recall, before we rose, there was a facility in this house that we approved, Czech Republic or so, and they were supposed to build bridges across the country. I don't know any of us remembers this. So government is a continuous process. We will pray that the road minister and the transport.
Thank you very much. Majority leadership.
Speaker, I will conclude and invite a superior view from my good friend.
Thank you.
Since he lives by the river.
Yes, honorable majority.
Speaker, let me say our deepest condolences to the family members whose pain has been ventilated on this floor by their able representative, the Honorable Bexeden. Speaker, lots of people don't know that there's a whole life and economy on the Volta Lake and its major tributaries. Speaker, in this parliament, we have as many as 52 constituencies that abut the Volta Lake. 52. Yeah, it's 52. 52 constituencies that abut the Volta Lake. And so I can mention constituencies like South Dine, myself. We have North Dine. We have North Town, South Town, Central Town. We have a Soldier Mine. We have Pando. We have Biakuya. We have Nkwanta North. Nkwanta North, Kratchi East, Kratchi West, Kratchi in Chumru, or in Oti. Speaker, we have Sine. In the Benoi region, we have Sine West, Sine East, Pru West, Kintampo North, Bole, Central Gonja, Esoja Mine, Afram Plains North and South. We have Salaga, we have Banda, we have Nandon, we have Daboya, Mankarigu, we have Yeji. And the Yeji, Yape Gusogu, Abu Jinapo, you should pay attention to these matters. Mr. Speaker, yes, Damonko, Mr. Speaker, Damonko, they are very close to the water. And there are a lot of the constituents whose life depends on the activities that happen on the Volta Lake. Mr. Speaker, the matters that has been raised are very, very important. Because, Speaker, if you travel to other countries where there are water bodies, and let me cite, for instance, our own sister country, Tanzania, where you have Zanzibar, which is the island. And the people of Zanzibar, they travel to the mainland in Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam. They use what they call water buses. Very beautiful. They are water buses, they have the big ones, they have the small ones. In fact, they are water taxis. And Mr. Speaker, these things don't cost much. It's just about the initiative and implementing them. This is not the first time that disasters on any of the tributaries to the Volta Lake has taken lives. In fact, in Southern in 2022, about 60-something people who came to one of the biggest periodic markets we have in this country, the Germany market, and they were traveling to my brother Wallace's constituency in Afram Plains North. Speaker, on the Volta Lake, when you are in the boat and you are traveling, if you travel for about 20 minutes from the shore, the life on the lake is like the mighty sea. You don't see anything. When you are in the boat, it's as if on the lake, it's as if you are on the high seas. And the kind of storm that can out of the blue erupt on the water is akin to what we can see in the high seas. And so when the boats are rickety, they are not properly equipped. Mr. Speaker, if the boats are not properly equipped to withstand such tumultuous weather and storms on the water, they sink. Because the boats become storm-tossed and they are not hardy, they are not properly built to withstand such terrific storms. They are crushed and they take lives. We lost about 40-something people. It became a national disaster matter. NADMO came in as usual. They did the reports as they are supposed to do. But that was just about it. And so, Speaker, I don't want us to belabor this matter, but I want to ask some pertinent questions. The Volta Lake is about 60 years old. The inundation began from about 61. The dam got filled up in about 65. So it's about 60 years old. VRA was created as a result of that. VRA gave birth to a subsidiary called Volta Lake
Education Service and was posted to my alma mater to teach. I taught there for a period of 8 years, and during that period, I found time to learn to become a lawyer. I finally left the teaching field in about 1994-5, where I joined the VAT service, and the law was, and also the legal department of the VAT service was absorbed into the legal department of the then IRS. So I was there briefly. I was always desirous of joining the bench. So I applied, and I was taken in as a magistrate in November of 1997. I was a magistrate till 2005.